Good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog on a good old Monday afternoon. It's good to be with you. Another edition of Weber This Week. Today we have Lou Ferrara, my buddy of many decades, is joining us. We expected to have Greg Lazaro. Greg has got some family issues with his mom, and we all wish, myself and Lou and Josh, we all wish Greg and his family the best. We understand the mom is not doing that great, and Greg called me this morning and was nice enough to get a hold of Lou to come in and talk about some town issues, which are, of course, the hot button. It seems to be the gum of the day around here. It seems like town board issues never, ever go away. But Lou, welcome. Thanks for coming in, Lou. And I know you joined me in wishing Greg and his mom the best of luck. And I know she's not doing very well, and we going to say a prayer for her tonight. We hope things turn out okay for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But we got Lou with us, and of course Josh Durso's. We got a good director and producer. All kidding aside, like take a shot at Jimmy when he's not here. Josh is on board producing the show. One of the few times he's done this show, and he's obviously very talented. You've seen his stories in his show as well. And Josh is going to be handling and he's also going to be asking Lou some questions as we drive into the world of politics locally. And Lou, it would be without further delay that I would say, obviously, Seneca Metals is never going away as far as a controversial topic, good or bad. We've gone through, before you got elected to the town board, we went through a scenario where Annette Lutz and Mary Sartori and Delalis voted in Local Law 3 in December of last year, as you recall. Then you took office along with Tom Ruzicka in January. And now there is a potentiality of switching it and replacing Local Law 3 with Local Law 2. And the aim, I think, Lou, and you can explain this, is instead of litigation, you want to negotiate in good faith and bring this thing to somewhat have two or a group of even-keeled minds to discuss what's going on there and forget about going to court every other week.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Speak to the issue as you see it right now. Is that where you're going?
Yes, the way I see it right now, we've talked about it. Litigation isn't the way to go. It's not. I don't want to see this town spend another dime of our money on litigation for this issue. This issue should be put to bed.
Yeah.
Once this issue is put behind us, we can negotiate.
Right.
Some are saying, well, you can negotiate with this in place. Well, you can't. The simple reason is it's holding a gun to somebody's head and saying, this is what we want, you need to negotiate. We need to go back to prior Local Law 3. Get rid of that. Take that off the table. There's nothing now being held back. Now we can sit down and we can talk, and hopefully we can move forward.
Most of your constituents, most of the people that got you elected, do they feel that same way with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hope I'm doing what the people are asking me to do. I've got many emails. Before we passed the resolution to do what we were going to do, I got an awful lot of them that said, why are you waiting? Why isn't this taken care of? What are you doing? And now that we have started the proceedings, they're coming in that it's positive.
Well, certainly, it's the hot button of the area, and I understand the odor issue. I drive out to Del Lagos. I'm working part-time out there for the marketing group. And, you catch a whiff going by the facility occasionally when I drive out there. I drive out there every morning. Last week I drove out there 7 straight mornings. But in fairness to Kyle Black, and I know everybody thinks because Kyle and Seneca Metals is a sponsor of the show that I'm slanted his way. He's a good friend of mine, yes. He's a good sponsor, yes. But I am of the belief, and Josh can agree or disagree, I think you got to give him credit and his company credit. At least they're spending millions of dollars to recognize the issue. They haven't got it there yet, but I think when you spend millions of dollars, and they can afford it, I'll be the first to admit it, but if they weren't so positive in trying to get it remedied, then I would be concerned as well. Absolutely. But when the fact remains that, and I know Josh is our producer today, but he's written many an article on this, that you can say what you want about them, SMI, you can badmouth them and say they should shut down tomorrow and clear out of the area. But in my view, Kyle Black being from the area, having his family living here, I think he has talked to his management team and they have spent a lot of money. No, they haven't remedied totally. I would agree with that. But I think we got to give them at least a little bit of credit for spending all this money, because a lot of people may have said, no, we're just going to do whatever we do and keep all that money into our profit statement. So that's my view on it. And I've made it clear that I feel if they had not made a move to try to remedy the issues that you have brought to them as a town board, then I'd be more concerned than I am presently.
Absolutely.
That's my position.
Absolutely.
And Josh, I know you, Josh, have been following this case forever, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you your input on this, because nobody has followed the SMI situation more than you. So give us your view on what you think currently is the issue right now.
Well, I think speaking to what you just brought up is effort and manpower.
Right.
I don't think anybody in Seneca Falls or Seneca County as a whole can really doubt the amount of effort that Seneca Meadows puts into their entire cause, like their entire business. You go by the landfill in Ontario County, and a scene last week, somebody snapped a couple pictures of a wall, literally, of garbage bags and litter just smeared right up against 5 and 20. So it could be totally different. Right. As far as that goes, obviously it's heated on both sides. Yeah. Both sides have completely legitimate causes and support, but it's one of those things where, as far as operationally, they're doing the best they can, I think, within the realm of what they do.
Right.
One of the things that I mean to pipe in.
No, go ahead.
If you don't mind.
Sure.
There's been a lot of talk. Everybody is beating a drum. You have to close it. You have to get rid of it. It's a corporation, a big corporation. They have stockholders.
Sure.
They could pull the plug at any time and say, you know what, we're going to renegotiate a new host agreement now, not give you close to what you're getting.
Right.
We're going to put it into the stockholders. We're going to repay our employees and our stockholders and start running it more like a business.
Yeah.
Right now they're very generous with their money, and they are working, like you said, to remedy the smell, the odor issue.
They are.
The part that bothers me, and since all this has started, and I've been involved in it for 8 months, I've been to meetings, I've spoke at meetings.
Right.
Not one person has told me yet, and there's a lot of people that know everything about this. Where is my trash going to go? How much is it going to cost Seneca County, Seneca Falls, you and me to get rid of our trash?
Right.
Nobody has a plan. Nothing is said about that. So it's all fine and good. You can have a sign that says that's responsible government to get rid of the landfill, but it's not responsible government. Responsible government is having a plan and moving forward with it and being able to tell you the end of the week it's going to cost you $150 to get rid of your trash per week, per month, per year to an undisclosed location that may not want it. So I mean, how do we get into that? What do we do?
Well, the other thing that kind of makes me laugh in a way, and I respect the adversary. I respect the people that are on this other side of the ledger that want them out of here and they want to shut them down. And I had friends of mine or people that said they'd be closed this year. It's not going to happen. I guess my view is, and it's well chronicled, there's not a week that goes by that Mark Benjamin's not standing up with people handing out a check, whether it be the SMS or whether it be the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or
Habitat.
cause after Habitat. And I'm not saying
the Christmas bike program.
I'm not saying that their aim is to buy everyone's love for them, but I'm mindful of the fact that a lot of corporations aren't as giving as they are. They're very giving to many, many causes. And I understand the opposition, but I've never seen anybody who took a check, whether it be for $1,000 or $5,000 from Seneca Metals, that said there was an odor issue with the check.
Absolutely.
I've never seen that. I've never heard that.
No.
And I'm not saying that this is a reason we should keep them here for 100 more years. But my point is, people always are securing, not everybody, they're securing donations from major corporations. I worked at Gould's Pumps for 44 years, and Lou can relate to this. I used to talk to a friend of mine who was a VP, and he was in charge of accepting or rejecting donation requests. He got 200, 300 a day. That's how big the company was. A day from every organization in the country for Gould's Pumps. Of course, now it's ITT, it's Xylem, it's all kinds of different names now. Before I've been out 10 years, May 1st. But I find it amazing, and they only gave out a lot of money for the locals. They gave out a lot of money for and all I'm saying is people who are so harsh and critical of SMI need to look at the entire picture. Yes, they're giving, and I don't think they do this just to get everyone saying, hey, you know what, they're a great company. I don't think so, because if I was in charge of handing out money for SMI, I mean, I'd give as much. I'd put more in the profit statement.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, that's just my view. I guess it's my show, so I can have my own view. But I think we need to relax. We need to negotiate. I think Lou and the board are been elected to make those decisions and sit down in conference rooms with their attorneys and work out a deal. It's not going to be a perfect deal for either side, Lou, and you know that better than anybody. When you negotiate a deal, it's not perfect for either side.
Nope.
It's something you can live with and the board can live with, and hopefully you speak for the constituents that elected you in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you know.
Win, lose, or draw, the issue is tough for me because as long as the town of Seneca Falls gives every resident a 90-gallon tote for trash, and the county will give you a 5-gallon tote for recycling, and maybe 1 in 5 people on your street use the recycling, and that their trash tote is filled to the max, and they're requesting a smaller one to go with it. This is more of a problem. You have to begin somewhere, and maybe reverse that. Give everybody a bigger recycling tote. Maybe 15 years down the road when you see people throwing away less and recycling more. But right now there's nothing out there for recycling.
You're right.
Not profitable. Nobody's taking it. It stays right there.
That's right.
It.
Lou Ferrara is my special guest this afternoon. We were expecting Greg Lazaro, who we invited on the show, but he's got some issues with his family, his mom, and we wish him and his family the very best and hope things turn out okay. Lou, you were on the show with Tom a few weeks ago. You talked about SMI is on top of your list, but there's other issues in this town, and you made it very clear there are many more issues that you need to deal with and that you are concerned about, and it certainly starts with roads and infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And so talk a little bit about some of the things that are driving you nuts to get done other than the SMI issue.
Most recently, I'm still concerned with the water and sewer. I know at one time we had two superintendents here. We had the sewer and the water. They were separate entities. Greg and I sat down and we just split that up. Pacafola was on the water side, and they gave it to the sewer superintendent, Joe Tullo. I'm on his committee. I recognize the fact that he's too overwhelmed. He has a lot just on his plate with all the lift stations and sewage. The other side of it was going by the wayside. So we brought Ricky Russo in and asked him how he'd feel about taking over the water end of it. He's excited. Today we had our first meeting with the engineers, and he's going to be on board with that. Hopefully we can start making progress on that part of it, the infrastructure. We have many needs that have to be addressed, and I don't want to sit around and wait for something to happen. I want to start them now. So this is a step in the right direction. I've charged Ricky with identifying the most critical areas that need help. We're going to sit down with the engineers and we're going to start doing it. I don't want to see any more hoses on streets to flush systems.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to see good water brought to everybody.
Yeah, let's talk about an upcoming meeting. You have a meeting tomorrow scheduled,
Yes,
correct?
Sir. Yep.
And from what I understand, from what Greg pointed out, there's not going to be any public comments allowed because you need a lot of work to go through the agenda.
Yes.
Okay, so no public comment. And then, of course, next week is the public hearing.
Yes, it is, but I think that's tentative. I believe there's a county meeting that day, so the date may be changed. Okay. And of course, but when it's held, it'll be allowing the people to speak up and give their views, correct? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yes.
And I guess I'm all in favor of people getting up and making their comments about this SMI issue, but, you know, I always like to pick on my friends who speak every time in front of Lou and the rest of them. Just change the material just a little bit. I mean, I could go back 7-8 months ago and say that speaker is going to say this, and this, and it always is that. You sit there now. So just, come up with some new material. But all kidding aside, we'll certainly be cued in on that. And I'm sure Josh will be there with Guns N' Roses checking out those meetings to report on fingerlakes1.com that he does a great job. Well, this is Weber This Week. And by the way, next week, so we have a couple of special guests coming in from Del Lago. We haven't had Jeff Babinski, the Executive Vice President General Manager, on for several weeks. He's a busy guy. He'll be in along with Chris Paluto, who's also the Senior Vice President of Hospitality, to find out what that role entails at that casino. And speaking of the casino, when we do our commercial break, which we're going to break to now, when I come back, we'll give you an idea of a big promotion they have out there that, and they're a sponsor. We can tell you how you might win a Mercedes C300. Stay with us.
Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams and Wadhams Enterprises, your local employer of choice. Proud supporter of Weber This Week and local athletics. Fill out an application at wadhams.com. The Gould Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country, fresh, home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. Del Lago Resort and Casino will feature a luxurious 205-room hotel, several restaurants ranging from casual to fine dining, and a 2,500-capacity entertainment venue called The Vine. The casino will have 2,000 slot machines, 75 table games, and 10 poker tables. Visit www.dellagoresort.com. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. The Seneca Falls Country Club, awesome 18-hole layout, open to the public, and a 12-month payment plan for members. Check out SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Rich Rickey and Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week.
We are back. Hey, a couple of notes about a couple of our great sponsors. We just played their ad. Seneca Metals has these events that they have about every few weeks out there. In the month of March, they have Easy Spring Crafting. Brighten up your home with a charming spring wreath. The colorful wreath is easy to make and looks like it came from your favorite craft store. That's at Seneca Metals Educational Center, 1977 State Route 414 in Seneca Falls. It's going to be this Wednesday, March 8th, between 6:30 and 7:30. The cost is $8 per person. It's an adult program. And don't forget about the Owl Pellet Pandemonium coming up on Saturday, March 25th. We'll have more information on that on next week's show. That's 3 to 4 p.m. So if you're interested, contact Seneca Metals. And I believe I have their number here. I think I have it somewhere. Well, I thought it. Let me see here. Well, let me see. Well, we'll get the number to you. Oh, here it is. The number is out at Seneca Metals, 315-539-5624. Okay? So contact them, tell them you're interested in taking part in that event coming up on Wednesday. Speaking of sponsors, Del Lago, I mentioned the casino where I'm working part-time, enjoying it. I do miss the 9:30 show, but I kind of like this one as well. Del Lago's got a lot of promotions going on, and this month of March, they are going crazy out there. They're giving away 4 Mercedes C300s every Sunday night of the month of March. Last night, a young lady named Patricia, she got her name drawn at 5 o'clock. So she took the cash element, which is a nice element to get. Take the cash and run. Did okay for showing up. And this Sunday, the next Sunday, and the 26th. So there's 3 more drawings. What you do is you want to go out and play some slots today, tomorrow, tonight, whatever. It's going to build you entries, and then you've got to be there to win. So it's Sunday at 5. Every Sunday you have to be there in the casino. At about 4:30, you need to go on a machine so they know you're there and they know you're playing. And then at 5 o'clock sharp, you got to be present to win. They're going to draw a name. It could be yours. You could have a choice of either taking the car, and it's a beautiful car, by the way. It's out in front of the casino as we speak. It's a black one, C300. It looks gorgeous. Or you can take the cash option, and I believe there's another option, which is some cash, and you can have some slot play, a few $1,000s in free slot play. So big prize. And again, if you're interested, take advantage of it because somebody's got to win it, as they always say. Hey, before I get back to Lou, a couple of notes in the world of sports. SU, of course, ACC tournament coming up on Wednesday. I don't know the station. I didn't check it out before I came to the studios today. It's a noontime start. They're taking on the University of Miami. First round of the ACC tournament, noon Wednesday. I'm sure Jimmy will have much on that one tonight. Speaking of Jimmy, he's going to be at the big Blue Cross Arena for the big one tonight, Minders Academy versus Newark. You don't get him any better than that. Josh, it should be a great game.
It'll be an awesome game, and the effort he has put out in the last month.
Amazing.
He's a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to high school basketball.
It's amazing. I took this year off from doing play-by-play because I've done it for 40-some years. I decided, and I'm kind of glad I did now that I'm working out at Del Lago. But Jimmy is around the clock, and he's got all the stats. He has all the podcasts. He brings in the Verkis of the world, and you name it. He's really on top, and he's doing a great job. And tonight, check out that game. It's on Finger Lakes 1. It'll be the radio stream of the voice stream of our broadcast, and it should be an exciting game. And we are all hoping that Minders and Newark, the two best teams in that division, would meet. Well, it's going to happen tonight, so we wish them. You know what time that's coming on the air, Josh, at all?
I believe they're going to do a pregame show. I think it starts around 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. Okay.
But you can check that exact time at fingerlakes1.com.
Gotcha. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills situation regarding Tyrod Taylor, the quarterback, who should he stay or should he go? If he stays, let's say Lou owns the Bills, Lou has to write a check for $31.1 million to keep Tyrod Taylor. A team that has not made the playoffs in 17 years, which I have a lot of fun picking on them for that every time I do a show. So the question is Tyrod Taylor worth the owner spending $31.1 million? He has to do it by the 11th of March, as is coming up, a few days from now? I found it interesting that Greg Cosell, yes, he's the nephew of the legendary Howard Cosell, who many of us, including myself, grew up listening to, and whether you loved him or hated him, you had to admire. He told it the way it was. His nephew, Greg Cosell, of course, is the senior producer of NFL Films. There's not a person in the world that knows more about watching film and the attributes or lack thereof of a player than Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell, in a Democrat and Chronicle article dated Friday of last week, indicating that he did not think Tyrod Taylor should be kept by the Bills. He did not think that Taylor's the answer for the Bills, and he certainly did not think that the folks that own the Bills organization should be doling out $31.1 million. Interesting, and this guy is not just saying it at a bar over a beer. This is what he does. He reviews NFL films, and he watches every segment of every player on every NFL team. He's been doing it for years, so it'll be interesting to see if the Pagulas, the owners, Kim and Terry, are watching this article and reviewing it before they write that check.
Yeah.
A lot of money, and I'm not so sure he's worth that kind of money. I don't know what they're going to do if they don't sign him because they have no answer to take over for him. But that's a tough check to write. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely, especially when you can rebuild. You can
yeah,
use that money
well, unfortunately with the Bills, they say that every year, though. you know,
it's a lot of money to throw one way.
It is. Well, Lou, as we pause down or as we get closing out with about 5-6 minutes ago, as you look forward, and I was going to ask you, you've been on the board now for a period of about, 6-7 weeks, correct?
Yes.
A couple months, well, actually 2 months, right?
Yep.
Since January 1st. What has surprised you about being a board member? Anything other than, I know SMI is a hot topic, but...
SMI is a hot topic, yes. The new office up there, we are planning on having an open house.
I'd like to see it. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah,
it is. It's nice. We didn't rush it, but a lot of people, we had to get in there. I mean, it was time. The lease was up.
Right.
And we kind of moved in before a lot of the things were finished. Mm-hmm. So there's still a few maybe things that you want to have done before you have an open house. Sure. And that's the only reason. It's not There's nobody hiding anything.
No, I know.
You know, there is a building behind the doors. It is nice.
Yeah.
A few complaints are that it's so secure, but that's not our doing. That's the state.
Yeah.
You know, that those offices have to be secured. But it's a beautiful building. Hopefully, you know, we'll get everybody in there and everybody will get behind it.
Yeah.
It's there.
I got to check it out. I go by it all the time, and I got to check it out and see what it looks
really
like
nice.
inside.
Really nice.
Yeah. It seems weird for me to drive home and not see the police cars to my right by the railroad tracks.
Yes.
That's kind of weird, you know.
Yes.
All these years they've been there. So, you know, and I think you're right. I think the town of Seneca Falls, we got to get past this SMI scenario, and I know the board will be making some moves, some action to get that done. But I think we can't lose sight of the fact, as you pointed out so well, that there are other areas we need to focus in on as well.
I want to see businesses come to Seneca Falls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they are, but I think a lot of our attention should be devoted to that, filling storefronts, maybe unique shops, something along those lines. SMI hasn't curbed development, to my knowledge. There's a $500 million casino right up the road from it.
Yeah.
There's a new Verizon store. There's a Hampton Inn.
Mm-hmm.
The businesses are here. They're coming in, and
I'd
they're
like-
a business like any other.
And I'd like to know what 318 is going to look like in 10 years.
Absolutely. You can't, the property out there is going fast. I mean, there's sold signs on everything.
It's going to be amazing. It's
Absolutely.
really,
Absolutely. Hopefully some of it will come down the road a little bit. They'll
Yeah.
say, here's a nice town. Let's go right here. And
Yeah, you know, you look at Seneca Falls, and again, I've been here all my life, as you know. I spent 5 years in Geneva after me and my wife Mary got married up in Geneva, her hometown, and you know, it is kind of sad in a way. I love Seneca Falls. I think it's, you know, it's a wonderful town, and I almost said village because it sort of etches in your mind.
yeah, mine too.
But you know, you think of the glory days when we had all these businesses. We had a drugstore on the street. We had all these places there. We had Seal and Ruts and Seneca Clothing and Shannon's, and
Absolutely.
I mean, it just brings back a lot of memories, you know.
Absolutely.
And we
Whatever
need to bring more in, and some businesses that you know,
Yep.
that need to,
Unfortunately, the Amazons and the Walmarts have taken all that away from
True.
small town America. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of unique little shops that can come back and fill those spots. You know that you can't get these things on
Right.
Amazon or at Walmart. They're
Yep.
specific to your little town. You know. And
Yep.
those are the things we have to be working on. We have to get more business friendly and
Yeah.
try and bring them in and have these boards that are set up to, you know, encourage them to go out and get them and bring them in and do whatever we can to
That's right.
get it going.
Well, you hit it right on, and I want
You're
to.
doing it right now
Yeah.
up at the casino. You're telling them as they
Well,
get off the boat,
yeah,
right down a little bit, you can come down and
Right, you know, and
come to Seneca Falls.
yeah, people ask me all the time, "What am I doing out there?" Well, actually, I'm working in the marketing group. But when buses arrive, my role is to go out and get on the bus before we let them off the bus and give them a quick spiel on not just the casino, which obviously they're there to gamble, but we also talk. I try to give them a minute and a half of the Finger Lakes. It's a Wonderful Life. It's you know, the December weekend. You know, you go on and on. You know, the National Women's Hall of Fame, the beautiful, the new Hall of Fame going across the bridge, the former Sewing Knitting Mill. I mean, there's so many things. Birthplace of Memorial Day, Waterloo, the Harriet Tubman over in Auburn just announced as a national landmark, and on and on. The wineries, the lakes. You know, there's so much that we have to offer in the Finger Lakes. And then the next minute and a half when I get on the bus, I tell them about the casino, which they haven't seen yet. And to a lot of those people, they don't realize how big it is, how they're awestruck when they see how big it is, because it's 94,000 square feet. For a guy like yourself,
Yeah.
94,000.
Yeah.
For a guy that's a contractor like Lou, that's a
That's
big
huge.
building,
That's
94,000 square feet.
Absolutely.
And you've got all kinds of eateries out there. We tried the new high-end one last week. I took Mary to Portico.
Nice.
It's really nice. Recommend a reservation. It's a little pricey, but it's for a special occasion. But it's definitely called Porticol, Portico. Pull up Del Lago Resort and Casino, click on Portico. They'll ask you to make a reservation online using Open Table. And as Josh knows, it's funny, I can't even turn on a computer without screwing it up. So literally, it's pretty simple. I made a reservation online for two.
Good for you.
Yeah, and it went through. And I got a confirmation back. I thought Josh would be impressed because I hit the right button and it said confirmation number 29. So I got there and our reservation was on. So go to Open Table. They'll take it Open Table and make a reservation. And again, it's a little pricey, so it'll be a little more expensive than you're used to paying. But the food is fabulous.
Quality's
the service
there.
staff is great, and it's quite a pleasure.
There's something for everyone out there.
There
I think
is.
That's the
There
point,
is.
right?
There is. I mean, you can play 30-cent slots, 20-cent slots. You can play $50 slots. You can whatever you want to do, whatever your budget can handle. And but there's all kinds of entertainment out there. Divine has got a lot of acts going on. Check out Del Lago. Look at Divine. There's tons of acts. The Country Stars coming on Thursday up to the Del Lago. Dustin Lynch, he'll be in town, a young superstar country singer. They had the top 20 countdown over the weekend. His song was number 2, so he's almost at the top. Yeah, He'll be arriving at Del Lago on Thursday night. So, Lou, thanks again for coming in. Good luck to you, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Thank you, Harold.
All right.
Thanks,
Lou
guys.
Ferrara, a longtime friend of mine, fill us in. And again, we mentioned a couple times what we wish Greg Lazaro, who has issues with his mom, we hope and pray that things turn out. And Greg will have Greg on later in the month. We'll reschedule him to appear on the show as well. So speaking for my friend Lou Ferrara and our producer-director who did a yeoman job, we're going to have him here every week, Josh Durso. This is the dog saying, take care, everybody. Enjoy your week.